Hey guys, it's Master and welcome back to my channel. This is the camera review of the POCO X3. The entire video is going to be shot on the POCO X3. So on the POCO X3 we have a selfie camera which is 20 megapixel and uses a pixel binning technology to put all the pictures together on your videos also. And at the back we have the 64 megapixel main sensor, which is the Sony IMX sensor, and also we have a 30 megapixel ultra wide sensor. And we have the two cameras which are completely useless. We have 2 megapixel macro camera and the 2 megapixel depth camera. I basically don't know why those cameras are there, because the images coming out of those cameras are basically shit. So on the front camera you can do maximum 1080p 30 frames per second, and at the back you can do 4K 30 frames per second maximum. The front camera doesn't have optical image stabilization, so definitely the image is going to be shaky if you're working or running. At the back we have that optical image stabilization on the main 64 megapixel camera, but we don't have it on the 30 megapixel ultra wide camera. So in the camera application we have photos, videos, portraits and pro mode. In the photos mode, on the right side we have the settings. So this is currently 1x. You can go ultra wide, which is 0.6, and you can have the digital zoom 2x. And on the left side you have options for flash, HDR, so you can click on HDR. So we're basically just going to keep that on auto. And the AI mode, you should have that turned off because it kind of overexposes your picture and increases the saturation, so I'm just going to turn that off. And you also have other settings, and if you click on the more option here, you can see a lot of things you can do. So you can set your aspect ratio, and if you want to set a timer, also you can go into settings, macro, tilt shift and other things. And if you go into the more mode, you have a lot of options. You have the 64 megapixel mode, you have night mode, slow motion, time lapse, short video, and also the front and back option where you can record both front and back cameras at the same time. In GCAM you have night sight, portrait, camera, which is photo, and video. And you also have the more option where you have panorama, photo spare, time lapse, slow motion and lens. So that's what we have in the camera application, and now we're going to move into testing out the camera. So for every clip I do, I would also do the same in GCAM, and I'm going to put them side by side and we can compare the quality of the stock camera and the GCAM. So this is a stock camera and you can see the quality coming out of it. You can also tell the audio of the microphone. It doesn't have optical image stabilization like I mentioned earlier, so I'm just going to be walking forward and we can see how steady the video is. So right now the phone is on a phone holder and it's not on a gimbal, so on the stabilization I'm just stretching out my hand and keeping it steady. You can see how shaky the video is, and I'm just gonna jog a bit, so like walk fast, and you can see how it is. So let's try to jog, and you can see the audio is shaky. So now we've moved to the back camera. I am currently shooting with the main sensor, 64 megapixel sensor, and this has optical image stabilization, and you can see, so I'm just gonna gradually move my hand and you can see it has such smooth video. Okay, I'm also just gonna take a walk, so I'm just gonna walk. And you see how smooth the video is, so let's just quickly walk quickly. And now we're gonna take a walk, run. So this is the ultra wide sensor, and you can see how much you can cover. There should be some mild lens distortion, so since it's ultra wide it's would be, but this can be corrected with software, so you can take off the lens distortion. and let's walk a bit. So I'm gonna take a walk and a little bit faster. It seems to have optical image stabilization. There is no ultra wide in GCAM, but you can zoom all the way to 10x. So you've got 10x zoom and all the way out. So this is the selfie camera in the night under low lights. You can see it's not that bad. The quality is good. I really like the colors coming out of it. It's actually really nice. You can see. There is a lot of noise in the video, but for the price, it is actually decent. So this is 4K, 30 frames per second, and low light. This is the wide angle camera at night. So to my verdict, when it comes to the selfie videos, I like the colors on the GCAM and the skin tones are clearly better. Taking a look at my hair, you can see that the blacks are darker. On the rear camera, there isn't optical image stabilization on the GCAM. I believe this is a problem with the application and optimization of the GCAM on the POCO X3, but the dynamic range is quite better than the stock camera. Coming to pictures, on the rear cameras, the colors from the stock camera are more saturated. Also looking at the sky at the top right, you can see that the colors are more vibrant and richer. At the bottom left, you can see that the shadows are darker and the grass is greener. For night pictures, I would go with the stock camera. The selfies are brighter and you can see the subject more clearly than on the GCAM, although you have some more details on the pictures coming out of the GCAM. As for the rear camera, there's an issue with GCAM adjusting the white balance, but I think this is also GCAM not being optimized for the POCO X3. So that's it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit on that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.